Welcome to the Breakfast Blend with Mac and Morgan. I'm Mac.
And I'm Morgan.
And today we're going to be discussing, well, Square Enix releases information about when they'll release information. The creator of Twisted Metal, David Jaffe, I don't care if that's how you say it, you're a dick, comes out against developers being upset at publishers. I took a look at the new upcoming Neverwinter MMO's mission editor, and we have New Jersey apparently wants to create new regulation for selling violent media. Okay, so first up, Square Enix. This isn't even news. I'm not happy that I'm even bringing this up. I would prefer to ignore it completely because that's what it deserves. But something in me demands that I draw attention to this, which is really, they're getting what they want out of me. I am a fucking tool, is really what it comes down to. So Square Enix came out and said, hey, we're going to come out and say something. We're gonna give you a release date. Here's our news post. There will be a news post. It is the worst bit of just news titillation, man. It's just awful. And the thing is, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even like Final Fantasy games.
So the anticipation of it isn't even...
Yeah, I won't even be there for it. Like, even when they announce it, I won't care.
Yeah,
It'll just, if we even mention... In fact, now, I'm not even going to mention it on here. I will patently ignore it. I'm not even going to tell you which one it is. Because does it matter?
No.
They're all the same fucking game. It's some emo-looking teenager who has unbelievable abilities that he's not aware of. Every once in a while, she. But typically, the she is only a she... Like the most recent one, it was actually a she, I think. But usually the she is just the counterpart of the he. But they're always teenagers that are just these unbelievable demigods, but they don't know it. And then somehow they rescue, they save the world or the universe or the galaxy or time itself. It just... I don't like Japanese RPGs. Okay. Have you ever played a Final Fantasy?
No.
Not a one.
Not one.
Have you...
In all these years.
Have you... Yeah, we checked that, and it has been... This will actually be the 25th anniversary, apparently, of the first game's release. Have you ever played anything that you would consider to be a Japanese RPG?
No.
Okay. So you don't even know if you hate them.
I don't like anime. I don't like the
big doe-eyed girl thing?
I do not, no.
Now, do you not like it because the women that you've been with have made it clear that you're not allowed to watch that kind of shit?
No, I just don't like the art form itself.
Okay. I can agree with you with the bulk of it. I don't care for that overly cutesy style with the saucer plates for eyes.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. But I think there are some that are entertaining. Not, I'm talking about, excuse me, anime or manga, not... in no way am I an expert, so I'm sure there's some anime fan, or whatever the term is for that. I'm sure there is a special term that I'm unaware of, and I'm sure that they're just chomping at the bit. So, excuse me. Send your hate mail to Senator Dianne Feinstein, California. I like the more modern ones, like either ones that are kind of futuristic or they have a more realistic bent, like their story, and not like I had to look up for a project that I'm doing. I had to look up a gunsmith, and in the process it sent me to all these images of this anime called Gunsmith Cats.
Gunsmith Cats.
Yeah. And so apparently it's like an offshoot of some other anime that failed. And the Gunsmith Cats are two girls that like take on private detective jobs, and one is like an expert marksman with every weapon that's ever been made, and then the other one is an explosive expert. Which is just as dumb as, anything else. Yeah. A-Team, Airwolf, all that shit. Stupid, right. But, it's testosterone laden. Whereas this is huge boobs on really tight shirts, but they're cartoons. Like okay, we're not going to get into the whole. Is it creepy to find non-real people attractive? But in the anime thing, they just take it to an extreme that's just obnoxious. This apparently didn't start that way, but became that way. But I have no interest in that stuff. Like, it doesn't seem like I read a couple little clips of the anime to see what it was about. Mm-hmm. It's not even entertaining. Maybe in Japanese it's a lot more intelligent and maybe it's just better in the original language. It sucks in English.
Their taste is a little different.
But there are things, like I loved Sword of the Berserk. I thought that was great. And that was ridiculous. This dude literally has a sword that's bigger than him that he carries on his back. I'm not kidding you. But it was a great story up until the end where it went fucking off the rails nutso. Like the whole time it was like this kind of cool medieval, he's this guy that is just, really good at killing dudes, and that's all he's good for. Yeah. And, he has some regrets and whatnot. And it was a character story with that one ridiculous element. That was really about it. It was just him with this giant sword, and he would just kill hundreds of dudes with it. But then the ending became this weird demon world, creepy rape scene thing. And I'm like, what the... Yeah, where the hell did this come from? So anyway... but yeah, so there's some stuff that I think is good. But then, like, I see all this other shit that's just like, who does this appeal to? And I would not want to... Basically, I tend to try to not get involved in forms of entertainment that I would be embarrassed if someone walked in the room.
Right. I do the same.
That's pretty... I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. If you wouldn't want anyone to know that you're doing it, you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along to David Jaffe, or Jaffe, who cares? This guy is a prick, okay? He is in a response to someone, apparently an anonymous game developer, complaining about how publishers manipulate the industry and abuse their clout. Which is essentially, they have all the fucking money. They give the developer money to make something that they want to sell. He says, stop whining. Basically, his exact quote was, if you don't like the contract, don't sign it. Negotiate for a better contract. Well, first of all, it's just ignorant and self-important to say that these groups with, any publisher, Electronic Arts, any of the big ones, mm-hmm. The fact that they have this much money, to say that doesn't give them the ability to manipulate the people that they deal with. When you come begging, you really can't pick and choose.
No.
And then you're in a contract and you have to do what they say, and the publishers are trying to make the most money. They don't give a fuck about the game. They don't. They can say they do, but at the end of the day, all they care about is how much they make. Mm-hmm. Now, if caring about what the player wants will make them money, then yeah, they'll care about what the player wants, but only to that extent. They're not gonna sacrifice profits for the vision, okay? Which is basically the opposite stance. So it's like a constant battle. Mm-hmm. I'm not telling any gamer anything they don't know. I just find it ridiculous that a guy that made his bank on Twisted Metal. Mm-hmm. And can just at any point he could just walk anywhere and be like, well, you know what? I made Twisted Metal. Who wants to buy my game? They're like, oh well, shit! You obviously had success once. Yeah. Like, you can't come from that position and tell people that they're not doing it right. Like, not to mention the fact he got that. What was that? Single Track Studios that he was with. They got that deal when Sony was nobody in the games industry and was desperate to get developers that had a lick of capability just so they could pump out games that people want to play. Mm-hmm. To be honest, if you go back, the original Twisted Metal, not that great.
No.
Second one was pretty good. That. Second one, did you?
Yeah. One game I did play.
I mean, I enjoyed it at the time, mm-hmm. but they also, the company also made, was it Warhawk, I believe? And that was shit. I know everybody thinks that was amazing. Even at the time, that was not. That was just a tech demo dressed up as an actual game, and it wasn't even that fun. Like, I did not care for it. There were a lot of games at that time, though. Like, oh my god, Battle Arena Toshinden. that came out with the PlayStation? No. Let me tell you, worst fighting game franchise ever. I think if you named a game Beat Your Grandma with a Brick and made it a fighting game and that's all you do, that would still be more playable than Battle Arena Toshinden. It was...
That bad, huh?
It was awful. It had... Oh, I won't go into it because it just takes too long. But it was just a rush job to get out there and show off how you can have a fighting game in a 3D space. Mm-hmm. Terrible. So moving right along. David, go fuck yourself. Okay? And here's a good example. I'll put on the professor hat for a moment. As an allegory to this situation. If he's saying that the market will dictate. If you have the capability... He said essentially that you're only worth what you're worth. Except that doesn't really work. So, for my allegory, I'll take the stock exchange. Okay? Not the NASDAQ, but the NYSE. Stocks are traded. And everybody's like, oh, well, it's a free market. Guess what? It's not a free market. That is this wonderful myth that we have propagated. The stocks are not traded for as what they're worth, because here's the real thing: it's just a piece of paper.
Right.
It's worth only what someone will pay you for it. Now, technically, that's true. However, on the stock exchange, the bastion of the free market example, they have specialists. Every stock is traded through a company. Companies maintain the shares, and they ensure an orderly market. And the specialist is in control of certain stocks. I won't say control, but they have significant influence over the stock. They can make the decision to buy or sell. And they also are given a supply of... I shouldn't say they're given, but their company purchases stock within the stock that they have. And they use that stock to ensure that trades can occur. So if someone comes in and no one wants to sell, there's a bunch of dudes that want to buy. But if there's no stock up for sale, that would typically jack the price up.
Yeah.
Well, that would be considered an artificial inflation. So the specialist makes sure that he sells it to them, doles it out, slowly stepping it up to regulate it, to keep it in a smooth and orderly way. Now, of course, there's always the outliers. You will, of course, have those times where everybody just wants to get rid of their stock. Mm-hmm. And it's his job to make sure that they can sell it. Well, if nobody wants to buy it, well, he has to. So what he does is he continues to buy their stock and then but at successively lower prices, mm-hmm. slowing this inexorable trend downward and then massaging it to a place. Like, they literally know roughly where they want to be for the day. That's not a free market at all. There's someone massaging that price all the time and making a mint themselves because they know everything about it. It mm-hmm. is such a fucking racket. So that's the same concept here with the developers. They have all this money. They have the control. They have the distribution pipelines. They have the ability. Some little know-nothing developer that has just enough money to not be indie but can't really pump their stuff out.
Right.
They got to do whatever. I mean, yeah, you can try and negotiate, but at the end of the day, the guys that have the multiple millions of dollars that you need are going to be telling you how you're going to do your business. Mm-hmm. So, fuck you, Jaffe. Anyway, moving right along to the Neverwinter Nights info. This isn't really news, but I found interesting. There was, I think it was IGN, maybe. It was either IGN or GameStop or Spot. I don't know. It doesn't matter. One of them had one of the guys who makes... Okay, first, Neverwinter Nights used to be a isometric perspective D&D game, like Baldur's Gate, and this is very popular. You're looking at me. You're glazing over. They were really good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was really good. It was based on the D&D property. It was very true to the underlying mechanics, but what was impressive about it was not only that they had just incredibly long and diverse stories, but that it gave players the ability to make their own. And the Neverwinter Night properties, there's like Icewind Dale, there's like There's a whole slew of them. You can pick them all up like together for cheap, and they still hold up. But you could the stories that were part of the campaigns were good, but there was this whole multiplayer component where everyone else could make stories for you, and you could play other people's missions and ideas, and it took a good idea and made it stellar. And so these games continue to sell well past when they should have been able to. They're taking the same approach now, but now they're going to, with the user content, the game is now a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. MMO, Warcraft style, set in the same reality, this Neverwinter. But I saw them demonstrating the tools that they're going to make available to players to craft their own stories, and it was freaking incredible. I mean, I don't know if anybody listened to one of the previous shows where I talked about how I wanted to play Infamous and do the level editing, and it just did not give me any of the control that I wanted. Like, you couldn't really make a story in that game because you couldn't control the NPCs. You had to just use generic or random. Well, that was the problem, was they were random. And so you couldn't make a story that had multiple parts. It was just little missions like, go blow that up. Go stop them from blowing that up. Like, that was it. That was what you could do in Infamous. It was still better than anything, for the most part, that we had seen before on console. But this, holy crap. Like, the idea that I had because I wanted to make like a private detective that basically was blackmailing the lead into doing jobs for him. You can do that now. You can put anyone you want. You can use any piece of material from the game. And like, you can, any race, any color, any class, any of that. You can put anything on them that you want. Any piece of clothing that they have. Any color scheme. You can take... Now, I don't think that you can actually edit your own maps, in the sense that you can't create a new map, but you can take existing maps and add elements to them. And some of these elements included, like, some massive pieces that completely changed the landscape of this. And then you can change the way it looked. Like, if you're like, well, we're underground, so it's just going to look dark. No, you can change the ambient lighting so that it can be like red or green or whatever, so you can give it that like sickly green cast, so it's like, it makes you feel a little
kind of
ill.
slimy down there.
Right. Or you can make it just dark, or you can make it like really bright, and you can put actual light sources. Like, it's crazy. Crazy and awesome. And if you have any interest in being a level designer, this is training. This is 101 for that concept. And it's put out to the community, and they're trying to make it possible for people to vote on these things, so that if you do really well, it's going to rise to the top, and it's going to get noticed. And so a ton of people play it, and that could potentially parlay into a job.
Nice.
Why would you not hire someone who makes shit everybody wants to play?
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it's ridiculous to propose that they wouldn't.
Do you have the patience for something like that? Did I ask you that before when we were talking about this?
I don't know. I have the patience to create. I'm more interested in the story, the dialogue trees and whatnot, which I didn't even mention. That if you're a writer, what they have created to allow you to interact with the non-player characters and the way the dialogue trees work is nothing short of astounding. If you want to do this stuff, do it. But to answer your question, well, you're buzzing. Do we have to take a break? And we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with the Breakfast Plan. And we're back with the Breakfast Blend. We left off with me being posed the question, do I have the patience? Which, just in a general sense, no. Do I have the patience to make a level? You know what? I think it's not dependent upon my level of patience. I can have infinite patience if I feel an affinity. I would not really have much of an interest in making levels for a game like Neverwinter. It's got that fantasy, medieval type setting, which is just not really my thing. I play the games, but I think that I play those games more because that's what they make. You know, like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Thought it was a great game. But it didn't maintain my interest. I still am only like a third of the way through because it's just, I don't... Swords and sorcery. It's there. I prefer things like the upcoming Shadow... Is it Shadowrun? Shadowrunner. The urban fantasy, I find that more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Things that have a modern twist. You know, let me have technology. Go ahead and mix it with some magic. That's fine. You know, that would be far more entertaining to me. I would rather do something futuristic. Give me a level editor in Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell a story in that. I'm with you.
I would love Grand Theft Auto to do one.
Oh, that's another great example. Modern stuff. Yeah. You know what? I watched Lord of the Rings. I'm done. Okay? I couldn't even read all those books.
Yeah.
I got halfway through The Two Towers, and I was like, oh my God, just get there already. Admittedly, I was 12, so, you know, maybe it's on me for not picking them back up when I was an adult, but I didn't need to because they made a fucking movie.
Right. No point.
And, you know, I'm not advocating film over print as a medium. I think you should read. I definitely think that people should read. Love my Kindle, but I think you should read shit that does not make your brain leak out of your ear, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it is? I really don't want to read much of anything when I don't think that the lead characters shower. That's pretty much what it is. That's really what goes through my head. I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't want to live in this reality because they don't have running water.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like, that's really it. That's why I don't read those books. I did when I was younger. I actually enjoyed a lot of that, like Nether Realms or Forgotten Realms and some of that high fantasy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just like, ugh. I think I peaked at the Tad Williams. This guy. Oh my God, this guy. Oh, he writes these books that literally every one of his books can be condensed into less than a fifth of what they are. It's just needless descriptions of the environment and the people. And he has 1,000 characters. And as soon as you're reading about one and you start getting invested, whoop, new chapter,
there's another one.
New character, or just alternate character that you didn't give a shit about to begin with.
Right.
But then you start to care, and just as you start to care, oh, hey, now we're going to this other guy. Remember him? Not really. Well, now you're going to be stuck with him. I hate it. So, yeah, I would have the patience if it was the right setting. Something set in... Did you ever read any of the William Gibson novels? No. There's another author. What is he... There's this series called Takeshi Kovacs, and it's about these... It's altered carbon. And the concept is that every human being is stored in a stack of silicon that's planted in the base of their skull, in their spine. And if you have the money, you can like download yourself and then re-upload.
Huh.
So even if somebody kills you, you have another body that you can jump into. But
nice.
But that's the really rich people in this scenario. So they're kind of immortal. And but for the normal people, you know, they desperately hope that they will be, you know, able to move into another body if something happens. And then they have like the ramifications of this are staggering, and the guy did a really good job. You know, like, what would prison be like for people who are basically not necessarily tied to the flesh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you jack them in. They call it the stack, this little base in the back of your head. And there's like in one of the books, there's an underground black market in stacks, where these people just kill other people, rip that stack out of their spine, and then you can sell it to people, and you can put it into a body or something, and they're like soldiers. It was awesome.
I like it.
Conceptually fantastic. But what was really cool is you can have, like, they've really taken genetic adaptation to a whole new level. So, like, you can get a new body that has all these abilities, you know, so then you just swap your stack into something else, you get a better body. Like, so basically you treat your body like a car.
Yeah. It's kind of like In Time, the movie In Time, kind of. But you don't,
I don't
get
know
new,
that one.
with Justin Timberlake, where they have the time is on their arm.
Okay, and they have to buy
Yeah.
time in order to live longer.
You can exchange time. You can steal somebody else's time.
Yeah, well, that's one of the themes in the Takeshi Kovacs novels, which he only faintly touched on. I wanted to see more of it, but it was a great concept. Is what does that do to someone when they live 200 plus years or more? Like, they don't even know, some of these people, how long they've been alive in these stacks. What happens to you when life is no longer about the flesh in any way?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that's... So, like, in one case, there was a couple, and they were married to each other, but they couldn't stand each other. However, they stayed together because who else would understand them? They've been around
Right.
so long.
Yeah.
Who could they relate to at that point? So, like, normal people were just playthings, and, like, what a mind-blowing concept. So, give me that. Make a game about that shit. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
all over it. You know, I like the technology. I'm sick of the magic explanation. Oh, well, he just uses his staff to
Change the world. Yay.
Okay, the last piece is on my laptop, which is not up. So you're going to hear a bong, I'm sure. Oh, it was rather quiet. So, essentially, a group that was tasked with finding out what do we do about violence in media in New Jersey, this task force, I guess, made recommendations to Governor Chris Christie. Awesome name.
Chris Christie.
Yeah. I really started to kind of like that guy during the hurricane event when all that shit went down on the East Coast.
What was the name of that hurricane?
I can't even remember. I can only ever remember Katrina.
Yeah,
you know? That's
yeah.
it. Whatever that one was, his, like, he, you know, because they were trying to push him to be the Republican candidate for, and I had a lot of respect for him. He was just like, nah. Well, are you going to change your mind? No. Like
No,
that.
thanks.
And even though he was coming after the president when the shit hit the fan, he was just like, oh my God, like, on an actual newscast. He's like, would you shut up? He's like, you think I give a fuck about the political agendas?
Right.
He's like, I need people here to help me get my state back in order. That I like.
We need more of that.
Oh, God, do we
You know,
ever.
that honesty, that
I would hate to
humanity.
think that was all just more of his politicizing, selling himself as a straight shooter. But, I mean, if that is what it is, he's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So
Nobody else is doing it.
he's on his way somewhere, I imagine. So he was or his office at least, was presented with a series of recommendations for how to deal with violence in the media, specifically video games. They focus on that because they said, quote, the interactive nature of video games as opposed to other forms of media may dictate particular regulation of such games. And every gamer is just all immediately right now, fingernails digging into the chair or whatever.
They're
like,
getting
just,
angry,
just-
ready to punch somebody.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh, another damn regulation. Like, seriously, gamers are like borderline gun nuts.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to this, which is unfortunate to make that comparison, I guess.
That kind of proves that we need these regulations.
Maybe that wasn't quite the metaphor I should have used.
It was perfect.
So their recommendation. Here's the thing. First of all, unclench your teeth and, you know, go ahead and loosen up your butt cheeks, guys, because it actually makes sense what they say. So let's see. I have a couple of recommendations here. Okay, so one of them is to require that minors are accompanied by an adult when purchasing games with a mature or adults-only rating. Perfectly acceptable.
Fair enough.
Sorry, minors. I know if there's a minor listening to us at this point, that they're pissed, but that's the reason there's a rating. So enforcing it, not a problem. They also recommend that a request for personal ID at the point of sale should also take place. So it's not just that, oh, I'm 17, I look 20.
Right.
At that point, it's a little weird, though. Like, when you're 17, really, at that point, I don't really care if you're playing these games.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But where do you draw the line? Where is the line? Because maturity is not an age. It's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's kind of tough. So that would, in my opinion, would be the next stage of the debate, is where do we consider you eligible for M? Because I know some 20-year-olds that shouldn't even be allowed to watch R-rated movies, And then I know some 14-year-olds that talk to me and I feel like I'm the student. Yeah. So
if they can, at least try to handle raising a kid at 14, they should be able to play a mature game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not in no way are we advocating child or teen pregnancy.
No, but it happens. It happens,
I think, honestly, I was going to say, if you're raising a kid at 15, then bets are off. You can do it. Like, that's your card.
Have a beer.
That's your ID card. Here you go. But now, thinking about that, wait, maybe not. I'm going to take that statement back.
We'll just cut this part out.
Yeah. And mark for edit. So, the other thing that I think is actually a good one is that they want game retailers to conspicuously show the ESRB ratings. So when we read that, we took a look. We went through some of my games here, went back to the mid-90s, and discovered that thus far, the ESRB ratings have definitely improved in visibility. Now, having said that, we will caveat that the size now of the ESRB ratings on the games is largely dictated by how many languages it's in, not necessarily their attempt to be visible. But we went back to Nintendo 64, which is, some of you remember. Anyway, that they had it on the front, but it was back when the ESRB ratings were kind of cartoonish, and they had like that the digitization of the letters, so it seemed almost like it was part of the design rather than a warning label. And then on the back, wasn't even there. It was just a little strip. Like, you would not... It's part of that section that you ignore that's like, copyright 1927. Like, nobody pays attention. At least now, if you pick it up on the back, it's a portion in the bottom that's very clear. It's not like gobbledygook that you just ignore. It's actually, like, boxed out and looks legitimate as a ratings. But the front, it could probably be larger. I'm sure people would bitch. You're obscuring my box art.
Nah, who cares?
So what? If you need it, download a fucking wallpaper and stick it on your computer.
Yeah.
Like, box art for what? Like, honestly, American box art sucks most of the time. Mm-hmm. So, and what are you worried about? As long as you know the name of the damn game.
Yeah.
Who sits and stares at the box at this point anyway?
And if you are, you're not getting laid.
Shit, they don't even want to give us boxes anymore. They want us to go all digital. Yeah. So, how are they going to do that? Oh my God, that's the next step.
Well, they're going to wipe out the art department.
Well, they're going to put that stupid rating thing. It's going to be an unskippable 3-minute sequence at the beginning of every fucking game. Because here's the thing, you can't regulate that at online buying a game.
That's true.
There's no way to do that. So if a kid knows how to, if you haven't put parental controls on your 360 purchasing, any kid can buy anything on there. Ooh.
Unless there's some sort of...
Oh, man.
When you put in your information for the account, is there a birth date?
Well, they do check that, but
you can
once
still
it's
lie.
in...
I mean, you can't
Right, yeah, it's like those stupid videos on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, tell us your age. Oh, yeah, well, I'm going to let you know I'm 10.
I'm hoping there's a boob in the video.
Yeah.
I'm 10.
But there are parental control. I mean, there is a way to prevent your kids from buying shit you don't want them to buy on these systems. But in those instances where maybe it's a 16-year-old that has their own bank account because they have a job, and they put their own card on there, and they buy whatever the hell they want. Again, at 16, at that point, if you have a job and you're earning your own money to buy the game, I think it's debatable on whether or not you should be prevented.
Yeah.
But again, it just comes back to, do you feel like kids should be playing hyper-violently? I don't think anybody really needs to. We already debated that. We're going to skip past that. But anyway, none of their recommendations is out of line or inflammatory or reactionary in any way. It is very basic stuff. It's basically stuff that you would want to put on porn, I guess, or even firearms sales. Like, these are things that we agree children probably should not have immediate access to. And it's it's much less strict than that, actually. It's just the enforcing of it. I don't even know how you're going to do that.
Right.
They're going to have to, God, how much money are we going to spend sending in undercover citizens? You want to volunteer for that job?
Sure.
I wouldn't. You pay me $20 an hour to go check GameStops? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Right there. New Jersey. Job makers.
Right.
Follow that lead. Helping to police our children. All right, so we're going to move into the PSN stuff. What do you got?
I have, for the PlayStation Plus, the free game right now is Joe Danger 2. Side-scroller, stuntman.
Oh, okay, the sequel. Okay.
Yeah.
I never played it. Everybody seemed to love it, but I never took
played
the
the first one, and I checked out the second one, and I guess he has gone from just owning a motorcycle to having other vehicles now in the second one.
Does he have a rocket pack?
That I don't know. He does have skis. I did see that.
Skiing.
Skis, yes.
It's rare that skiing is portrayed at all in a game, much less in an entertaining way.
Right, right.
In fact, I don't think I've ever...
Snowboarding.
Yeah, I've seen snowboarding.
Yeah.
And what are those things? Jet skis.
Mm-hmm.
Seen jet ski games, yeah. Never seen ski. I bet there's probably some
From the
awful
80s.
PC game out there that has you water skiing and jumping and then landing in a pyramid of people that are all on skis.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Like at SeaWorld.
Joe Danger. That's the free game
Free game.
for being
the
part of
Plus.
PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. Hot Shot Golf. The complete collection, $8.99.
Whoa! What's the complete
$8.99.
collection?
That is everything. The courses.
I gotta check that. I am a Hot Shots freak.
Really?
I love that freaking series.
Really?
Oh my god!
I'm surprised by that.
You're
not a sports guy.
I'm not. There's something about it's the ridiculous nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the balls catch on fire, and you can put hooks and slices that are just inhuman.
Nice.
And you unlock shit. That always, man. You piecemeal shit out like that to me, and I am all over it. It's terrible. I'm so pathetic with that.
The costumes, you can also download costumes, and they range from free to $1.49. They also offer
Now that shit I won't do.
2 new courses for $2.49 a piece.
Really?
Yeah. The Kratos costume from God of War, that one's free. Just a plug,
Okay, so it's the Out of Bounds Complete Collection. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I never played that one. Dude, you know what it is though? I only play it on the go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play golf games typically on a console. I tried like Mario Golf. I've tried Tiger Woods, but playing real golf, playing a Tiger Woods as close as you're gonna get to real golf.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Tiger Woods on a game system is even more boring to me than watching Tiger Woods. It's just not fun. Like, I want this crazy shit where it's like it's multi-tiered and I'm bouncing shit off of a pyramid, angling it. It has that whole like miniature golf kind of vibe to it.
Just larger.
Seriously, I bought a PSP and that was probably the only game I played for months was Hot Shots Golf. And it is the only game that has ever lasted in my... And then I went and bought the sequel on the PSP. Love it. But again, it's the sequel. I mean, it's the sequel. It's the portable version. Hot Shots Golf is much fun as it is. I'm not going to sit in my house and play it.
Right.
Like it's an entertaining distraction, highly entertaining distraction, but merely that. It is not something I would invest in. I realized that last night. I finally decided to try that damn Skyrim shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, Hearthfire, I'm going to get my house on. And I walk up. First of all, I still find it painfully difficult to find the additional content in the game. Like, a courier comes up and runs up to you, and then after the courier comes up and says, oh, here's shit for you to do. Then you got to go into your books list in your menu. So you go to the menu, you go to your items, then you scroll down to books. Then within the books, you got to find the note that you just got. Then you got to open and read the note, which then triggers the mission. That's just way too much fucking work.
Fuck that. No thanks.
So I was sitting there, I'm like, well, I downloaded I have the Dawn Guard, I have the Hearthfire, and the Dragonborn. And so I walk out, and this guy gives me the shit, and I get 3 notices. And then one of them is, like, I have a relative that died, and they gave me some money. No mention of the Dragonborn shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, what's going on? And I can't, like, I'm like, why is this not set as a quest? I'm going through my quest list. Like, where is this shit? And then I finally realized, oh, even after this guy gave me the note and basically told me what was in it, I still got to go find the damn note in order to do this shit. So it's just stupid. So anyway, I get to the place at the Hearthfire. First of all, I'm annoyed because it's in an area of the game that I didn't care for to begin with. I didn't spend a lot of time there because it's like the beginning area. And then they give you this home up on like the border of the map. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking live here. Like, I spent the majority of my time either at Whiterun or Markarth. I'm like, can I choose? Isn't there like a selection of properties in this place? Because there's nothing but giants and fucking bears, okay? Can I please just pick a place? But no, you got to go to this one spot, which is way out of the way. And now I feel like, which is ridiculous. It's a video game, but there's like that whole like, it's not really my neighborhood, you know? Like there's nobody here.
You just want to drag and drop it somewhere.
Yeah, seriously, how difficult is that? Why can't I just pick at least a city to be a suburb of? Mm-hmm. But anyway, I put this stuff in, and I'm queuing it up, and I realize, I'm like, I don't even want to play this now. Not because I'm not interested. I hadn't even turned it on yet. I literally am just booting up my damn 360. Which, by the way, takes way too long now. Mm-hmm. The whole checking the servers and all that shit. I admit, 30 seconds to a minute is not really a lot of your life. But when I remember pushing a cartridge down into a machine, flicking the button, and playing, you know, this whole logging on, checking that I'm really who I am, then signing into to Xbox Live, then spinning up. I mean, I know I can... Actually, I don't even know if you can now. I know when I first got the 360, you can set it to just automatically play the game. And I elected to not do that because I always wanted to use the stuff on the system first. And now there's so many other things you can do. Of course, you don't want to always have it play the game. But I don't even know if you can change that at this point. Maybe they took that away. Even if they didn't, it still shouldn't take this goddamn long.
Right.
If I don't want to get onto Xbox Live, can't I just start? Can't I just boot up and give me the choice? Sign in or play game now, you know? Anyway, I realize as I'm sitting here waiting for this to boot up that I'm about to embark on an endeavor that will be many, many, many hours. And it was like midnight, and I knew I wasn't going to do it. So I knew that I was just going to check it out, see what it was about, and leave. Ended up spending about 45 minutes. Excuse me. But I realized, as I'm sitting there, that I don't want to play the game. I'm making myself play this game. Not because I don't enjoy it. As soon as I heard the music, I was like, oh, I remember this. And I'm like, yes, getting my blood pumping. Let's do this. Let's jump into this place. And then it takes forever to load. And I'm sitting there spinning some 3D model, waiting. And now I'm annoyed again. And then I get back into the game, and I'm like, and then it comes over me in a wave. I step out into this reality, and I realize the breadth of things to do, and I don't want to do it. I'm like, I want I want to be accomplishing other things. And I feel like I'm becoming a non-gamer.
Oh, no.
Like, I feel that, like, it's encroaching on me. It's like every time I go to I find this now, and the reason I bring this up is because of the PSP, the portable thing. Like I was saying, I like it in bite-sized chunks, that portable, type of game. And what hit me last night was the epic game, which has been my major drive to find all the time. That's the game I want. I want the game that's going to take forever. It's going to get me involved and make me want to be there. Is too much. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that anymore.
Your responsibilities have taken over your brain.
Like, in all seriousness, I have too many things that I want to do.
Right.
And every minute that I'm playing the game, I feel like I could be doing something else. Now, this could be... I'm sure it'll be temporary. Once I've accomplished, once I get the classes out of the way, and once we start getting more of the videos up and all these things, that things will be more on track. But I just don't want to do it. Isn't that terrible? Oh my God, look at the shit down there in that room.
I know, man.
And to think that it's like, fuck it. Like, oh my God, I can't.
What would you even do? Make millions off of
No.
your game room.
I couldn't even sell the collection. Like, I'd be one of those freaks on eBay that's got that huge collection going of everything from everywhere,
but won't sell any of it.
Yeah, no one will buy it, And I'll be doing that for like 3 years, and then finally some nut job from Kentucky or something will be like, "Oh yeah, I'll take it all," and he hits the buy it now button that was like some astronomical price that I knew I'd never get. I'm like, here's 100,000. I don't know, dude. I don't know what that means, what that bodes for the gaming. But there's definitely a transition. You're just looking at me.
Yeah. You got to do something, man. You got to do something. I'm just getting into it. We're starting this whole thing.
I know. And it's not that I don't like it. It's. I never thought that I would consider myself the bite-sized gamer. I don't even know what the term is. I don't consider it a casual gamer, but somebody who only does it in small doses. But that's all I really want. Like, when I'm down there looking at the thing and I know that I have time to kill and I have no responsibilities. It's like, it's a Friday, everything's done, the woman's not getting home, till late, and we don't have the kids this weekend. I sit and I look at them like, what am I going to do? I have like 3 hours to kill, and I would start, but the second I try to narrow it down to what I want to do, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to finish, so I don't even want to start.
Right.
Well, there's some dead air for you. Why don't you fill that in?
I don't even know what to say.
While I wallow in my angst, how about you do some airtime?
Would you prefer to play a mobile game like on your phone, or
I try
instead of sitting down?
I hate the interface. I think that the touchscreen is insufficient for games of real complexity.
Right.
And I despise those games that have like the little controller on the screen. I'm like, oh, thank you for providing this great thing on this 3.5-inch screen, and then stealing a quarter of the real estate just for the touch controls. And also, it's not responsive in the same way as a controller. You will be infinitely faster on a controller in certain games. With like SimCity or something, something of that nature, where it is largely just point and click stuff. Yeah, it's going to be faster actually touching it. Point and click adventure, perfect example. Oh, just hit the button. Here's my menu, and I'm going to drag this thing here. Yeah, sure, faster on that.
Would you spend more time doing that than you would sitting down in your chair and turning on the Xbox and?
I don't. It's really weird. I won't play games on my phone, my actual phone. I don't do that very often because I don't want the battery to be crushed, and I'm a holdover. I really still feel that my phone is largely a phone. I use it to text, so it's a communications device. I only have like 3 games on my phone, and I did play one of them for quite a while, and then I realized that it was going nowhere. Like, I was just doing the same thing over and over again. Right. And the only thing that was changing was that I just got more money or experience for doing the exact same thing in a different place. And that wears down. What's the matter?
Checking time.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up. So I don't know. I have no answer. I have no solution. I don't use my portable systems. I have an iPod Touch that I occasionally play games, but typically it's only when I'm just trying to kill some time and I don't want to do anything else.
So it's not that you prefer mobile games, or your responsibilities are taking over, and
yeah, I really don't want to invest the time.
That'll be temporary. It's temporary.
Right, the kids will grow up in 10 years. And then I'll only be working harder to make sure they go to college.
Right.
Yeah, so, nothing will change.
Yeah.
No, I don't... Dude, it's... It's been a part of my identity for so long, the gaming thing. I don't even know what to think.
Are you growing out of it?
I was always afraid of that. I remember many times when I was younger where I would start to kind of lose interest. I was like, oh my God, am I not going to want to play games? That's crazy. And I don't think it's that. I think, it's the angst I think anybody probably feels. This is what I'll say. I think and I'll end it on this because nobody gives a shit about this. I mean, I barely give a shit. It's happening to me.
Right.
I think you just go through phases. It's there's moments in your life that you have plenty of free time. Also, we're older now. We're looking more at what is my legacy in the world rather than what am I doing this weekend.
Right.
And that changes your perspective.
It makes me feel guilty sitting down to play a game when I could be, I could pick up a second job.
Right, creating something, building a life. These are things that we actually worry about. I mean, shit, nearly 40. What did? Oh, I can't believe I'm gonna quote Star Trek on this, but Picard said, "More years behind than ahead."
Right,
and that's fast approaching.
Yeah,
and given the way I live my life, that's probably already true.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I don't think I'm hitting 90.
What's the average age nowadays anyways? 70?
For guys, yeah, it's like something like in the 70s.
Yeah.
So yeah, But so, maybe it'll change. If I really get into designing and I actually decide I want to make something, maybe it'll swing back around. At this point, I still love it. I still find it interesting. I just can't invest personal time into everything. Like, I played the BioShock Infinite. I rented it for 2 days and played it all the way through. That was fun. I have no problem doing that. But structuring my life around being able to play a game like I did when I was younger, can't do that now.
No.
And I have no interest in it. Like, I haven't played online. Like, I used to do that all the time. Maybe too much. Battlefield, I was a nut for it. And I would be up till 3 in the morning. And feel like shit the whole next day. I haven't done that in 6 months. Oh my God, I'm supposed to do it tomorrow night. I'm supposed to play Battlefield. Like, I actually have to make a fucking play date. Like, seriously. Where do things come to?
Yeah.
And you know what? It probably won't even happen.
Well, let me know. I might join in.
Oh, yeah, I'll let you know. Because it'll be like 9 o'clock, and it'll be like, oh, let's do this. And I'll be like, fuck it, I'm tired. And, the next morning we're going to do a blend, so...
Right.
Like, I don't really want to be up that late. And we'll start playing, and we'll get our asses handed to us, and be like, you know what, fuck this.
Right, because I suck at it, so...
Oh, I can't. I haven't even tried. I'm terrified. I'm going to get my ass handed to me for the first hour. Ugh. Anyway, we got to wrap up. What else you got on the PlayStation?
Zombie Driver HD, $5.99.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, I never played it.
Nor will you.
No. Expiring soon, The Walking Dead.
Ooh.
And Guacamole.
Guacamole,
that's right.
The Walking Dead?
Guacamole.
On PlayStation Plus, like, you got the whole 5 for PlayStation Plus?
It's the game and then all of the DLC.
Really? That was available? Damn it, I just bought all that!
Yeah. That's expiring soon. And on Amazon, Dead Island. If you pre-order, you get an upgrade to a special edition, Steelbook, and 10 video credits for Amazon for their video service.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the Dead Island Riptide.
So am I.
I'm going to be... That, I may set aside the time. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe what it is I need something I really, really am into.
Right.
And right now I'm just not really into
That's really all I buy is games that I'm really into,
Yeah, that's not the case for me.
No, it's not. No, not when you stop games in the wrapper.
I can't be into all those. I will say for the Xbox side of things, this is probably true on PSN as well. But the big DLC for Dishonored came out this week, which is the Knife of Dunwall, where now you play as an entirely different character. The guy who, well, if you haven't played the game yet, you don't care about this, but I'm not going to ruin it for you. But basically, there's a key scene in the opening, and when you play the game, you're on one side of it. Now you're going to play as the guy on the other side of the key scene. But the thing is, nothing that I found describes just how immersive, how intensive this is. Is this the entire game from a different perspective, or is this just a little 5 to 8 hour quest? And I can't answer that. There wasn't enough information. It was a bunch of marketing bullshit.
Right.
There's also the Twisted Pixel Pack this week for gold members. It's a pack of 4 games that include Splosion Man, Miss Splosion Man, Comic Jumper, and I believe The Maw, of which, it's a bunch of, the first 3, the 2 Splosions and Comic Jumper are 2D, 2.5D side-scroll stuff. The Maw is 3D. That one, I'm actually interested in The Maw, but you get them all for a low price. We're just going to go with that. And I think it was $10, whatever the points are on Microsoft. But those are good games. It definitely takes some, plenty of value for your money on that scenario. And then the last thing that I actually gave a shit about was they also have on sale Bionic Commando Rearmed.
Good game.
Love the original Bionic Commando. Not the original in the arcade. That was pretty good. But I played the shit out of the NES one. God, did I love that game, dude. Shooting that arm at it like a can to pull yourself forward, and then shooting it up because you couldn't jump. So the only way
to shoot your arm everywhere.
Yep. So you would link onto ledges, swing over. You'd shoot onto lampposts, and then swing across a gap. And then you could get you had some equipment that you could put on, and which that was a fucked up mechanic. You had to choose a backpack, and a different color backpack let you talk, communicate. At the different relay stations, except they didn't tell you in advance which one you'd need for that level. So you play through and you couldn't understand anything they fucking said, and you wasted this slot with this backpack. And the boots, you could put on boots that let you, when you swing, they would kick a dude. Because normally if you swung and you ran into a dude, it hurt you, and it was I think it was 3 hits and you're dead, if even that much. And so the boots knock the dude away. So every now and then I would just keep swinging, just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Love the game. The new version, the Rearmed, is a reimagining of the NES version, and I saw some of the images, and it's and it really is. They took a lot of the levels and just made them modern. It's still a side scroller. I want to do it, but like I said, I got too much shit going on.
Yeah.
But they have more. They have the sequel, Bionic Commando Rearmed 2. I don't know how many things can you append to the name of a fucking thing.
You can do it for 25 years, I think, according to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The last bit is this week was released the Injustice Gods Among Us, and I just don't fucking care. I so wanted to. It's made by the people who made the most recent Mortal Kombat, which I picked up, and I couldn't get into that either. I tried. I even got the gold collection, so it had all the extra shit. And the idea behind it, I thought was great. You get the story element, you go through, you have to fight with certain limitations. All that shit I love. They did that in Soul Calibur back in the day. And I thought that was a really good idea. It gave you a reason to play a fighting game by yourself, because otherwise there's no reason.
Right.
But I hate juggle combo type games. That pisses me off. They incorporated that to a small degree in Virtua Fighter, and I found that highly annoying. There's nothing more obnoxious than having a guy pop you in the air with a hit and then just continue to pound on your character as you just helplessly flop through the air. That is awful.
And you sit there just pounding on the buttons trying to get out of it.
I know in some games they have reversals and you can get out of that and whatnot, but it's I don't know. That is just a mechanic I've never cared for. I also have never really cared for the giant screen fighting area where you can leap, 3 stories up or whatnot. I like the multi-tiered environment, which they do in this. That's cool. I want to like this game. I want to play it. I want to like it because I love the characters. I'm a big DC fan.
Yeah, so do I.
They got a great roster, but in the end, it's not exciting. I just don't.
You're falling apart, man.
I don't know. Maybe the game's awesome, and I'm just sick of games. You know, this is like the best fighting game ever, and I'm just the shittiest rep on the planet for it.
Oh my god!
I feel like I want to rent it, but I won't play it unless there's someone to play.
Right.
And I know that there's the online component, but it's not nearly as much fun as having a dude next to you on the couch and just shit talking.
By the time you get the game, you're already, people already have it. These kids that are playing on there, master it, within a week. You get on there and you get your ass handed to you every time you play. That's no fun.
Yeah, and you
want to be able to fuck somebody else.
And there's always people that are like finding that one character that has moves that break the game, or that are just a little too overpowered, and then that's all you face.
Yeah,
it's nothing but that douchebag. And I get, hey, you want to win, but at the same time, it's like I want to have fun too.
Yeah.
Now I want to. There's something like I got on and played on Virtua Fighter Online briefly for a while, and I did not like the little monk dude, the Shaolin monk.
Yeah.
His shit was nothing but chain combos. I hated it. But every now and then it was fun to get in there, not knowing what I was doing, and just hit buttons just to knock a dude on his ass and have no idea how I did it. That was entertaining.
Right.
He would get up and mop the floor with me after that. But still, every now and then that's fun. I don't want to sit and play the same damn character or the same two characters over and over and over. To what? To just tally up a number on one side of a ledger against people that I don't know?
Right.
What the fuck? But now, get me in a room with a couple of friends, and then whoever wins has to stay as that character until somebody beats them. Nice. Everybody can change up. That stuff I love. It's like, okay, you just won as Wolf, so you're going to be Wolf until somebody beats you. And so then everybody tries something different. That shit's fun.
We need to think about doing that.
Yeah, well, we need to get right. So we need to buy everyone we know a PlayStation and a game so they can play and practice.
No, I'm sure we can find some people.
It would be nice. The fighting game parties, those can be fun, especially when you get a couple drinks.
Cigars.
No, we ain't smoking cigars in my house. What are you, crazy?
We can go outside.
Okay. All right. Well, moving past debauchery, we're gonna wrap up this episode of The Breakfast Blend. Thanks for listening. I'm Mac.
I'm Morgan.
And we will catch you next time. And welcome to The Breakfast Blend. Oh. Take two.